What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I'm here tonight with the review for Power. This is season 6. This is episode 8, and it's titled Deal with the Devil. So, without further ado, you guys, let's go ahead and just jump into the video. Alright, you guys, so with this week, I want to start off with Tariq. So, we see Tariq. Um, we saw Sax. Sax went to Tariq's school to kind of talk to Tariq. And, Tariq told him, like, yo, like, you're talking to me, like, I could have you turn, I can turn you in because, my parents are not here with me, so no. So then we see Tariq, he goes into his class. Now, am I the only person that caught that when the teacher said this one student's name, his name was Egan? I don't know if that's his first name or if his last name. It just kind of, I'm like, Egan? So then the teacher asked Tariq, like, hey, you hold him. And Tariq is like, what do you mean? What am I holding? He says, I know somebody, I have a good friend that works at Choke, and they told me the reason that you got kicked out of Choke is because you were selling drugs. So let me see your backpack. So then, he looks through Tariq's backpack. Thankfully, Tariq didn't have any drugs in his, in his backpack for once. And, the teacher tells him, well, you can make a lot of money here. I'm like, really? Okay. So then we see Tariq, he's with Tasha, and he's telling Tasha that Sax came to see him. And, Sax backed off once he said, my parents are not here. And he didn't tell him anything. So then, Tasha is giving Tariq a lesson in cleaning money. And she tells, what, I have 3 rules. She says the 3 rules are no lying, no using the drugs, and no stealing. And she's like, Tommy can find out about this. So he's like, well, Tommy already knows about it. He said Lakeisha told him. And then, he also tells her about his teacher. And, she says, find out what you can about your teacher, but be careful in the process. So then, Tasha's mom, I don't know what her mama's name is, so I'm going to call her Dr. Angela Hubbard from All My Children. So, she shows up and, she's talking about she was there to pick up little Yaz. And I'm like, wait a minute, where is Yaz? We haven't saw Yaz in a few episodes. So, then she sees the money. She's like, Tariq leaves and she tells him, go get your tuition check from your dad. So her mama's asking her about the drug money. She's like, that is drug money, ain't Natasha? She's like, Tasha was like, I'd rather do this with my son than him being out there in the streets doing it. She's like, what that boy needs is Jesus, and you need him too. I'm like, oh, so she needs Jesus now that she's selling drugs. But when it was Ghost that was supposed to be selling the drugs, you was fine with it. Dr. Hubbard is a contradiction. A huge walking contradiction. So then we do see Tariq. So Tariq breaks into his teacher's office and he opens up a drawer and he takes out a bill that's past due and it has someone else's name on it. So then he's telling Tasha about this, and his family was behind a Ponzi scheme at one point, and his stepdad killed himself before he went to trial, and now his mom is in prison. So with her being in prison and everything, all his bills are, behind. So Tasha's like, okay, so what, we can have him work for us, and he not necessarily know that he's working for us. So then we do see the teacher. He goes into his trunk of his car, and there's drugs there with a cell phone. And, the cell phone says, if you want more drugs, to leave the money. And then, he says, well, how do I know who I'm working for? And then the person texts back saying, you don't. So then, he sees Tariq walk, and he says, was that you, Tariq? Tariq's like, what do you mean? I'm like, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I get where they're coming from, but that would have been a little bit suspicious and a little bit obvious. The dude just asked him, did he have drugs? And now there are drugs that mysteriously just appeared in his car. Like, I mean, he can put 2 and 2 together with that one. So then we lastly see, well, we don't lastly, we see Ghost. He calls Tasha. He asks Tasha if she knew that Tariq had picked up Kana's ashes. And she says, no, but that's okay. He says, no, Tasha, that would change the narrative. And then he also tells her to talk to Keisha since the feds ran up on her, which we'll talk about that in just a little bit. So then we see annoying ass Blanca. She comes up to him and she's saying that they have a witness, saying that Kane and North Tariq were at the penthouse the night that, they said everything happened. So then we're gonna stop right here and move on. Alright, so next we're going to talk about Ghost, Ramona, and Tate. So we see Ghost, Tariq went to the penthouse to get that tuition check that Tasha sent him to get. And, Ghost is talking about how he's going to have a basketball court at the Queen's Child Project. And if this nigga say Queen's Child Project one more time, I'm gonna find a gun and shoot him my damn self. So, Tariq is like, so do you have my tuition check or not? So then, and he also told him that Sax pulled up on him at his school, but no need to worry. I was quiet. So then, Ramona comes in. She's beaming about Ghost, talking about how he could be a potential lieutenant governor. And Tariq was like, "Don't you have to do background checks on people like that?" I'm like, "Ha! That's one more person telling you don't know the man that you're trying to sleep with." So then we see Governor Tate. So Tate is getting ready for this debate that he's going to have, and Sonny Hostin from The View is there, and so she's talking to Tate, and she's talking to his his the person that he's running against, and Ramona is trying to prep him, and she asked him, what does he think about having James on the ticket? He's like, two black men on the ticket, they're not going to go for that. So then we see James and Derek, they show up. So, so Derek walks up to a guy that's in charge of the audio and the production side of everything, and he slips him some money. And Ghost is talking to Tate, and Tate is talking, calling these people crackers, how they not gonna go for this, Queen's Child project and everything. And then the microphone goes on, and Ramona's like, "Oh shit, his microphone is on. Like, how did that happen?" It happened because of Derek. So then once everything's, kind of calms down a little bit, we notice that Derek was doing this with Ghost's help. I'm like, oh, so y'all being sneaky. So then we do see Ramona. She tells Tate, like, you need to drop out of the race because you are screwed at this point. Like, the constituents do not want to fuck with you, period, point blank. Because he's radioactive. She says, so, and then she's also talking about the other person, his opponent. They want to bring James in, and he's like, if that's what they want to do, let them do it. I'm still running. She's like, no, that's not what we're going to do. She says she wants him to bring James on. And I'm like, again, like Tariq said, background check? Okay, Ramona. If you say so, girl. If you say so. So then we do see Ramona. She's talking to James, and she tells him, play nice with Tate. Like, in front of those reporters, play nice with them, And then, because we can get you to the lieutenant governor. I'm like, so he's going to go from a drug dealer to a club owner to a politician. Okay, if y'all say so. So then we lastly see Tate. So Tate is in his office. He's sulking. He's upset because the reporters are gone. His campaign is over. And, he tells Ghost, like, shit, ain't no more Queen's Child project. I told him not to fund that shit. It's a wrap. It's a done deal. I'm like, ooh, thank you, Tate. You might not be good for much, but you're definitely good for that one. So Ghost can shut the hell up about that damn Queen's Child project because I don't want to hear that shit anymore. Moving on. All right, you guys. So the episode, it actually started with Dre. So Dre walked up on Sax trying to get this ankle monitor off of him. And Sax is like, how do you know where I live at? He says, I followed you, motherfucker. So then, he says, well, you haven't given me on anything on Ghost or Tommy Egan. So as far as I'm concerned, that ankle monitor stays on your fucking ankle. So, okay, so then he calls. Dre calls Ghost. Ghost tells him, like, since you got that leash on you, you stay away from me. Don't come nowhere near me until you get that off. Then he also asks him, like, so what happened with you with this meeting with Jason? Like, why did Tommy show up? He tells him Tommy kidnapped him. Tommy got the phone, and that's why Tommy was at that meeting and not him. And then, Dre is also trying to tell, Ghost to take out Saxon. Ghost is like, nope, not doing nothing like that. Absolutely not. So then we see Sax. He goes and meets with Tamika, who has a brand new wig and a new outfit. I'm like, what? Sis got fired from the AU, she got fired from there and went, and, she just glowed up like, that wig was on point. So then, Tamika asked Sax, like, what were you thinking doing all this stuff off the books? Like, when they fired me, when they brought Warner in, you gave Warner everything that he could use against you, which that is true. And, he tells her he's so close to the, closing everything with this Angela Valdez case and this Rico case. And he needs her help. And she was like, basically told him, like, when it comes down to it, it's not a matter of, if you don't prove that Tommy had something to do with this, it's only a matter of where you're going to jail and for how long you're going to jail for, because they got you. Um, so then we see Sack, like I said earlier, Sack's followed Tariq, trying to question him. Then when he didn't get nothing with Tariq, he followed Keisha, the strong arm Keisha, saying that she could be charged as an accomplice with anything with Tommy. And that's if she knew anything about him killing Angela or Proctor, and if she's behind any of his drug enterprises. So then we also see Saxy goes to talk to Blanca. And she tells him Warner asked her to help her get rid of him. And she can't wait. She's like, I can't wait to tell him. Her voice is so fucking annoying, hell annoying. So then her wife walks up on. I'm like, oh, so Blanca's a lesbian. Ooh, then I actually did see that one. So he tells her that Proctor said that Tommy was the one that killed Angela, and then Proctor ended up dead. So he couldn't prove it until now. Because he found out that on that deed for the house that Tommy got for Keisha, her name was on that deed, which that will make her an accomplice. And then Blanca's like, well, you know what? That's so funny, because she found out that Tariq was the one who went and got Kanan's ashes, pretending that he was his son, but he only had one son, and that was oh shit, what was his son's name? Damn, what was that boy's name? I forgot. She also says that it's funny because Keisha's a witness in the Raymond Jones case that nailed Kanan. So she says, what, I need Dre's. I would need Andre Coleman to help me with this, but I don't know where he is. So then Sax gives her Dre's serial number, and then we see Blanca. She goes and she finds Andre, and she questions him about Kanan killing Ray Ray. He says Kanan didn't kill Ray Ray because Kanan was in D.C. And she's like, but we have a witness that said that he was here. He said, well, your witness is fucking lying. And he says, I know for a fact that Kanan didn't do it because I gave that information to Tariq because, Ray Ray killed Raina. I'm like, ah, shit. This big nose bitch he's Tekashi 6ix9ine and around this motherfucker. Like, straight up Tekashi 6ix9ine. God damn, you big nose bitch. All right, so next we see Tommy. So Keisha and him and little Cash, they adjust into life in this new house. She's talking about how quiet it is, but I'm like, you're in the suburbs. Isn't that what you wanted? But whatever, Tasha. So then we see Kate show up. Kate show up. Kate is my fucking girl. So Kate show up, and Keisha's like, Kate, what the fuck are you doing here? Tommy got a house for you. Kate is like, bitch, I'm coming here. This is my son. I come here whenever I want to. And then Kate had a picture of herself, placed it right on the mantle, and I think there was a picture of Keisha and Cash right there, and Kate put it right there in front of that. So Keisha tells her she needs to go, and then Kate is like, you know what? It's so funny. Holly didn't get along with me either, but that bitch, she's probably somewhere face down swimming with the fishes. Um, you know, uh, she said, you know what? Did Tommy tell you what happened to her? And Keisha says, you know what? I don't give a fuck what happened to her because she wasn't strong like I am. I'm like, you ain't strong either, but I mean, whatever. And she said, that's why I'm here and Holly's not. I'm like, okay, you keep telling yourself that. So then Kay said, like I said, she's probably floating in a lake after breaking Tommy's trust. And, she says Tommy killed her with his bare hands. And Keisha's like, oh, shit. Like, I didn't know that. So then we see Keisha, she picks Cash up from school, and she's talking to Cash, and then she gets pulled over by Blanca. And, Blanca tells her that the feds are closing in on Tommy, and if, they think that, she says, we believe that you're laundering money through your salon. And then, she threatens to take Cash and, put him in the system. And Keisha is frantic. I'm like, ah, shit. This is what Kate was talking about, telling Tommy that when it comes down to it, Keisha is going to pick her son over Tommy. And she does she Blanca gives her some papers to sign to be an informant, basically. And Keisha, she hesitated for a few minutes, but that bitch immediately signed it. I'm like, oh, that's your ass. That is your ass. So then we see Tommy. So Tommy drops, Lil Cash off at practice. His acting is just as bad as Lala's. So then, Cash spilled all the tea. So then we see Tom. He goes and asks Keisha, like, so how was your day? She says, oh, it was okay. And, he goes off on it. He says, so when were you going to tell me that the cops pulled you over? Like, what the fuck was that? And, she tells him everything that happened. She says, but I'm not turning on you, Tommy. Like, when Sax came to me, I ignored him. And then she was like, he was like, why come you didn't tell me? She's like, I was afraid. I was afraid what happened to me, like what happened to Holly. He's like, Holly? Like, how long have you known about that? She says, I've known about that since yesterday when Kate came and told me. So then she asked him, like, why is my name on the deed? Like, were you doing this so that I would be the scapegoat? He says, no. He says, I paid this off in full so that way if anything happened to me, you would have this house. And she's looking like, oh, shit, I done fucked up. I'm like, oh, yeah, you done fucked up. You done literally fucked up. Fuck the fuck up. So then we see Tommy. He calls Ghost and he's saying that they need to make a move on Sax. And Ghost is like, I am not about to do that. And he just tells Tommy to keep his head down. So then we see Blanca. So Blanca comes into the nightclub, and she's telling Ghost that they may have a break in the case about Proctor's death. He was like, oh, okay. She's like, you don't care? Like your son was in that, your son was there. He could have gotten hurt. And he tells her like, you are harassing me and my family. Like I would like for you to stop this. So then he leaves, and as he leaves, she grabs a glass, and then Keisha calls her saying, you know what? I don't have shit on Tommy. She's like, yes you do, because if you don't, that means your immunity deal is null and void. And Keisha's like, okay, because she told her, witness protection was coming to get her. She said, no, don't have them come get me. I'm gonna go get Cash, and then we'll come to you guys. I'm like, wow, what a snitch. All right, so next we see Ghost. So Ghost is meeting Tommy, and they are going. Well, we don't know where they're going, but next we see Sax, and we see Sax in his apartment, and this motherfucker is jacking off to lesbian porn. So they bust into Sax's place, and but also before they got there, Ghost told Tommy that Sax is not a Fed; he's just a cop at this point. And then so they're asking questions about Tariq. So, Tommy was about to kill Sax until Ghost, slit a hole in the bag that they was, suffocating him with. And he says, you know what, we own him now. Like, we need somebody on the inside. And this is all after Tommy done sat there and admitted to Sax that he killed fucking Angela. I'm like, are you serious? Because Ghost says, well, you know what, they're not going to believe anything he says. And because Blanca told him the same thing. I'm thinking to myself, are you fucking stupid? Like, you don't know what this motherfucker has in his apartment. Like, he can't have a wire in here. He's that dirty. And y'all gonna leave him alive. Why would you leave this motherfucker alive? Like, please make that make sense to me. Why leave Sax alive? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Like, are you serious? You left him alive? So then we see Blanca. She takes everything that she has to warn him, saying that, Keisha is on her way in. And, she also goes and tells Dre what's going on. And I'm like, that big nose ass bitch. Ugh. So then we do see Sax. Sax got fired. And, Warner tells him, he tells Warner everything that he knows about James and Tommy coming to his place, admitted they killed Angela. And again, like Blanca said, nobody believes him because Warner does not believe him. He says, you know what? They're going to escort you out. So then lastly, we see Tommy. He and Cash are at a mall. They got something to eat. And we see Keisha. Keisha's packing her stuff, getting ready to leave. And then Tasha comes in. And, Tasha sees the paper. She asks her, what the fuck is this? She said, so this was the plan? She said, Tasha, that has nothing to do with you. That was about Tommy. And I'm leaving so that I can protect Tommy. I just got to go get Cash. And Tasha says, I can't let you leave. We're going to sit here and wait for Tommy to come up. So then we do see Tommy. Tommy is at a jewelry store. He's picking out a ring for Keisha. I'm like, oh, okay. I knew what Tommy was doing. Tommy was doing what, what most people do who are in that type of lifestyle. If they have a woman and, people are closing in on them, they'll marry the woman for spousal privilege so that way she doesn't testify against them. So then, we go back to Tasha and Keisha. So Keisha's dumbass is looking at her purse, and Tasha's like, what's in the purse, Keisha? So Keisha runs for the purse, and she, she and Tasha, they get the purse. Then I think Keisha grabbed a candlestick and knocked the shit out of Tasha. I'm like, ah, shit, Tasha, get your ass up. So, she does, get up, but Keisha has the gun. So then they start to fight over the gun. Somebody knocked the gun out. Tasha gets the gun. Then they struggling for the gun again. And, somehow Tasha was able to get the gun down and boom. I think she shot Keisha in the titty. So then, Keisha's on the ground. Tasha, don't do it. What about Cash? Tasha was like, fuck Cash. Boom. And blows the bitch brains out. I'm like, ooh. I didn't see that coming. I knew Keisha was gonna die eventually, but I didn't see her dying at the hands of Tasha, which was really good. I mean, no love lost for Keisha. R.I.P. to Keisha. I don't really give a fuck about you, but it was coming. Like, I did not see that one coming. But you guys, that was Power. Be sure to like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later.